Go. Three, two, one. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the seventh podcast so far, and today I have on exclusive Pillow. How you doing, Pillow?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good.
Yeah, Pillow is a friend I met through Sal, also known as Rusty Clutch Studios. Y'all should check him out and his other podcast. But yeah, Pillow is he was a Twitch streamer for a while.
I was.
How so? What's that life kind of like?
Well, I were big enough that it really mattered, but it was still good. The cool part was playing with games and then you get into a random lobby or a random game with somebody, and then sometimes they would like hop into your channel or whatever,
Mhm.
and then like kind of just hang out. So that was probably like the best part for me was I was playing with somebody and on my
Say that again, Pillow. You cut out for like a little bit. You were saying how someone jumps into the channel and then.
oh yeah, because we're playing the game together, and I'm under them through voice or anything, but they just suddenly appear in my chat.
Yeah, I've heard that that's kind of like the appeal to do in Twitch versus kind of YouTube, where you kind of build. Just like you're doing whatever you're doing, and then people are there, and you can actually directly talk to them about whatever it is, and it's cool, kind of like a community that you kind of build.
Yeah, it's like if there's anybody in there, there are some times where you really are talking to yourself. So it does get kind of weird sometimes, but it's just one of those things, where you got to keep talking. If you stop talking, people can always come back and watch anyway.
Mm.
So, you know,
Yeah, that's definitely been a weird thing for me when it's doing videos. It's still odd, kind of talking to the mic when I'm by myself and that kind of thing. Um,
yeah,
and even when I guess for the podcast, it's not too bad. Because it's a conversation with someone that's over online. I guess for me,
yeah,
I never really grew up on computers, that kind of thing. So online communities, be it through gaming, fandoms, movies, whatever, is never really something I kind of jumped into. So it's still all weird for me.
yeah. No, but there's always that one time where you're just playing with somebody, and then all of a sudden, following you. Sometimes you don't even know too, because when you're on the other side of things, uh, you can always see like, oh, three people are in this voice chat, or three people are in this chat with the streamer, and then but when you're on the other end, you don't see how many people are watching some of the time because it doesn't update 100% of the time. So it could jump from 1 to 10, and you'll just never know.
Huh. It's just odd. Because, like, one thing that internet kind of bonds, kind of make. It just feels odd getting to know someone online and have it feel the same kind of value or some kind of. Value is not the right word. Like, to make the same bond that you could with someone who you meet in person, it feels odd to kind of do that with someone over the internet. At least for me, so far.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. Talk to this person, you get a connection, and then all of a sudden, like more, and then you're talking to them like as much as you would a friend, and then it's just like, and then you're talking to that person you, you still don't even really know that person. You know them at the same time.
Yeah, it's that odd jump to make because you have no idea. Like we have no idea really what they look like or if everything that they're saying is actually true.
Oh
It's
yeah.
kind of just this trust that you're putting out there, and
Oh
that
yeah.
I guess that's why. So I have a bunch of friends who the relationships they jump into, they do it over the internet. Like they meet the person online, and it turns into something that seems even weirder to me.
Oh yeah. No. I like I been online gaming, talking to people online for as long as I remember, but you know, I think I've in person met maybe one
Mm,
of
yeah.
these, I don't know, people that I've talked to and quote unquote made friends with.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen What was I saying? Yeah, no, yeah, I've met I've met a few people, and then but I've never actually known these people or actually met them except for the one.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I don't think I'll even the people I meet today and tomorrow, I don't think I'll ever meet ever.
Yeah, that's why I find it really interesting. Communities kind of like, so I have a friend who does cosplay, and so she participates in lots of different fandoms online, and then in events like Comic Con or what's the anime one? Forgot his name. Anime Expo. She actually
Yeah.
gets to meet all these kinds of people, and I guess it's really make full those kind of friendships that start from someone on the opposite end of the country to you here in California, that kind of thing, and I find that crazy. It's like there's a lot of
Depending on
good
where
there.
you go,
Hmm?
depending on where you go too, it might not be country, it might be world, musical internationally.
Oh yeah, one thing I actually got to do, which is pretty cool. I did a program called Hobie a long while ago, and that had people from all over, from China, from Japan, Taiwan. I think there was a person from. Oh, there were people that were gonna come from Iran, but they weren't able to. There was a girl from Italy, from France, and Mexico, and it was really cool to be able to meet people from all over the world. But the internet's kind of just much an easier way to bridge those kind of gaps.
Oh yeah,
In
it's
a,
so easy to message someone.
no, yeah. In a way, do you think that could kind of bridge the gap, the culture gap between like big cities and like rural areas within a country? That kind of thing.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it absolutely could. Because even even yesterday, I I was someone that I consider a friend, and we were doing this thing, and ended up needing more people for it. So
Mm-hmm.
we brought some more people in, and then we brought some people that we already kind of talked to a little bit, but we still needed more people. So we go on this separate Discord, this other website, and we bring someone in, and they just happen to be someone that doesn't speak English at all.
Huh.
So that's the whole thing where there's like even a language barrier thing in this kind of situation.
No, but that's hella awesome though. What were you guys doing?
I don't even remember what it was. Something in Destiny. Probably like some menagerie or something.
Mm.
I don't remember exactly what.
So how about we get into that? Because I think you know a lot about Destiny. Good game, bad
Oh,
game. What do you
just
feel?
just a little. I know just a little bit. I totally couldn't, repeat the lore or whatever. Yeah.
I remember hearing that the lore in that game is incredibly annoying to learn. Like,
A little bit. It's starting to kind of balance out now.
mm,
It's all making sense. Probably about a year ago, which is when you heard it was really annoying because they were creating things and then leaving them unfinished like 2 weeks later, and then but they were introducing more things. But they're kind of getting to the point now where they're tying all the loose ends and fixing this and making sure we all know that. So it's kind of slowing down a little bit, but it's to the point now you can watch anything and it'll start to make sense.
okay. So did the game get like constant updates to for the story and I guess new things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, it is absolutely like a live game. It's updated. I don't know, once every 3 weeks at least.
Huh. That's actually
There's
really
always new stuff bringing in.
that's a lot of work put in by the which developer made it?
Bungie, same people who made Halo.
Oh. Huh. Actually, that's
Oh
another
yeah.
series I haven't touched at all. Halo.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty interesting because Halo is a classic.
No, see, I know that. It's just I was kind of limited for tech stuff. I used to have a Game Boy, and that's kind of what I would play on the most, like the
Yeah.
old Game Boy, the block Game Boy. And then it was just whatever was on the PlayStation 2. And then after that, I've been a Nintendo junkie since then.
Well, yeah. Well, you know that makes sense. You know, Nintendo is one of those companies that's really limited on what they want their audience to play because they want more money,
Hmm.
and I don't really blame them because it's not like they make games that are pretty. It's not like they make games that aren't good or anything. They've I don't know what 30,000 classics in the past 10 years.
Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, just to name a few, the biggest one.
But yeah, like, see, I missed out on Halo. I missed out on Portal, both of them. What else? I never played Crash Bandicoot until the recent remaster that came out.
Yeah.
And like, there's a whole bunch of series. Like Skyrim is another one I never touched.
Oh, really? That's one you should play. It's just because it's an experience.
I've heard amazing things about that game. That like it's a game everyone should touch, just a little bit.
See now, this is crazy because I'm like the total opposite. Because I grew up with an Xbox
Hmm.
and had a Nintendo ever.
That is the complete opposite, actually.
Like my first Nintendo was the like I don't know a year after it launched.
Mm.
So like that's like complete opposite.
So,
All first, um, I did have technically mine a Game Boy, and I only had one Lord of the Rings game. That's
huh? Was the Lord of the Rings game any good?
I don't remember. I remember it being very difficult, and I just not knowing what to do. That's it.
Yeah, I remember that's how I used to feel about a lot of games when I was growing up. Because the first games I ever played, it was on my dad's Nintendo. He pulled it out of the closet, so we played games like the original Super Mario, the original soccer. Like, soccer was nowhere near as polished as the FIFA games today. Pac-Man. Pac-Man is like one of the things I've loved since I was little
Um,
because of then. I don't know, it's just something about it stuck with me. And that's why
oh
Pac-Man
yeah,
is my main in Smash Ultimate, just because of that
oh,
love.
that's cool. No,
But
yeah, like it's Pac-Man is simple. It's got that like simple complexity to it.
and there's a really high
Yeah.
skill cap.
Oh yeah, real high.
I think the people who have gotten a perfect play in Pac-Man, which is every point possible, it takes about 6 hours, like 6.5 hours to get that far.
Oh yeah. No, it's insane.
Well, yeah, so I like, jumped off from there, and then a lot of the games that I touched after it was also even on the PlayStation 2. It was never like the named games like Grand Theft Auto or Sly Cooper or anything like that. No, I played Pac-Man World 2, and then the Ninja Turtle games that would come out because that was another series that my dad loved and he passed on to me. And then the Marvel Ultimate Alliance kind of series, which is basically a beat 'em up where you can be
Yeah.
any of the Marvel characters.
Yeah. No, I played a few of them.
Yeah, what were your classics growing up?
Oh man. Let me see. So that was the first game system I had. I had that for I don't know 3 years maybe,
Mm-hmm.
just because that's what I had, and it was my grandma's, and she loved like the Legends of Zelda and those kind of exploring games.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the only thing I had because she was playing the I don't know what it was, probably the 64 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a huge period where I didn't have it. I don't even remember how or why I didn't have it anymore. I just know I didn't. And then I got a Xbox 360 at launch,
Oh.
and then it wasn't launch. I think it was like 2 months later for Christmas.
Mm.
But the the three classics on that game were Halo 3, um, Call of Duty World at War, and then Gears of War, and that was it. Like that's what I played. So those are the only 3 games I played for a long.
See, Gears of War, that's another one I've heard of. I think, aren't they making another one soon that's coming out?
Probably, I know that they just made one. What is it, 5 or something? It's supposed to be good.
Yeah,
I
how
haven't
how is
played
Gears
it.
of War compared to Halo and Call of Duty?
Oh man, it's so much different. Yeah, I know you probably don't play like a lot of shooters or even at least like super action games, but Gears of War is, I would say, it's a skill game, but at the same time you just get really lucky and then you're fine.
Huh.
And Gears of War has a cover mechanic, so you can get behind things and you can shoot out of cover. There's a whole like charging mechanics where you literally run into people and then cut them in half.
Whoa.
I would say like if you took Doom and Halo and just smacked them together, that's Gears of War.
That's actually really cool. It sounds pretty different.
Yeah, I know. Like it was at the time, at least,
Mm.
it was a really different. Now it's kind of, there's so many games that adopted all these because it's so old. Uh, it
And
was it is
yeah, I think the new Doom, the one that came out, how long ago has it been now? Just a few years ago? 2 years?
20,
Yeah,
2016 was the last Doom.
yeah. 2016's
It was
Doom
like
was pretty crazy
forever.
with that kind of stuff.
Oh, it was so much fun.
See, that's another one I haven't played yet. It's on a Switch. I should get it eventually.
Sure.
How was that game?
That game is fun. That game is like, I would say it's a first person beat 'em up where there's no mercy. That's kind of like a really easy explanation.
Oh, that's,
But instead of fighting people or whatever, you're fighting demons
that sounds really
and
crazy.
I know some of you might not have played Doom. It's literally fighting demons in hell.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Doom Guy is the Demon Slayer, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, because like he didn't really have a name before, so everyone just called him Doom Guy.
Mm,
And officially named him the Doom.
the Doom Slayer.
He wasn't metal enough.
Huh. One thing I heard in the beginning of the game is like you wake up and they excavated you from like a crypt in hell.
Oh yeah.
And that's the lore behind it. And they locked you
Oh
up
yeah.
because they
No.
couldn't kill you.
Yeah. The intro sequence is you wake up in an open stone, like, made for one person. That's where you wake. You literally wake up like looks like a zombie creature charging at you. You break up. You break your chains and then smash his head, and then the game.
Huh. That's a great
Like that's
cold
it.
open.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, see, gory games. The other gory game I thought was really cool, God of War. I only got to play a little bit of the God of War 3. My roommate he got the new one for the PS4, and that was another series that looks super metal with kind of stuff that happens and the beat 'em up kind of glory to it.
Oh yeah, that game is really metal.
Like,
That is one of those games. If you can, I would at least try it. Because that's one of those games. It's a beat 'em up. Yeah, it's a little gory. There is some inappropriate scenes, but it's so much fun.
yeah, I remember I think the cold open for God of War 3 is you're climbing on the Titans, like on top
Yeah.
of Gaia as they're climbing Mount Olympus, and all the gods are fighting
Oh yeah.
all the gods that are left after the first two games.
Oh yeah. That's an important statement because you killed the rest of them.
Honestly, that game, that idea is kind of super impressive, where you're actually taking on the skills of these gods by claiming parts of their bodies, or like weapons that they wore. I think I remember like when you take out Helios, the sun actually disappears from the world.
Yeah.
And you just
Oh,
pull
yeah.
them out of your pocket when you need to brighten a room or something.
Yep. That's it.
Like that kind of stuff is insane. imagine the type of stories that they're gonna tell in the future with the Norse stuff.
See, but that's the thing is, he disappeared, so he was a legend, and that's kind of like part of the whole. That's kind of part of the whole shtick in the new God of War.
Uh huh.
Um, you're kind of a legend. You kind of like send yourself, so nobody really knows. Nobody really knows about. But you know about you and all these other gods.
And it's interesting how I like the idea of the world that they have where all the gods do kind of exist on, and the way they kind of elaborate it, it's almost as if there are different realms, like the Norse or the Greek or even Egypt kind of thing, are separated over kind of space and time, but gods do exist in some place in the universe, and
Yeah,
they can connect and meet one another. Like that was a big plot point within the story with I think his name was Balder. I forgot what he was a god of in Norse mythology, but in that game he traveled across these kind of gaps, and you can see the symbols of all the gods of war of these different regions, including the Spartan symbol that represented Kratos, who's the main
yeah.
character of God of War. So that stuff is actually really insane. Like there's one writer who I like. He when video games first came out, he imagined gaming as the next frontier in telling stories, like really creative stories. And let's see, what games really have pulled that kind of off well.
Oh man, there's a lot. I would say Mario did it in kind of like a different style than most games would.
Mm.
Because it's basically the same story every time, but the way they tell the story is different every time, and that's kind of like what brings. Oh, what ridiculous and crazy thing happened this time.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Um, oh man,
One I can think of. Did you hear of Detroit Become Human?
yeah, that's a kind of scary one.
Yeah, the idea behind that world, I think it's like automation or automatons have become so advanced that you can create robots that look almost exactly like humans, but because
And
they're
act and perform like humans.
yeah, and act and perform like humans.
Don't forget that. That's really
And the thing is, because they're robots, the people don't treat them like humans because they're creations of us. But what the game tries to push is that these robots can think and behave like really like think the same way that we do. That they kind of have their own. It seems as if they have free will, and it puts them in a lot of, I guess, morally challenged situations on what to do. I think one of them is I forgot the name of the girl who's played by Jennifer Lawrence.
Alice.
Yeah, Alice. She was a servant for a home with a father and his daughter, and the father was really abusive to the daughter. So the robot Alice decides to save the daughter from that abusive relationship, and kind of just escape with her. That kind of thing. And then
Well, the kind of crazy part about that game too is, I'm sure you've seen, and I'm sure some people listening will know, but the way they get you is they make you play as these robots in that kind of situation. So yeah, in the real story of the game, Alice saves her, but the person playing the game might be too scared to do anything.
mm. Oh yeah, I forgot.
And if that the game's really, here we go, anything, she dies, like she literally dies from the abuse.
Mm. Yeah, that was a really cool part about that story and the way they do the storytelling, in that since you're in control of the character, they have laid out a lot of different options at every single choice the player can make at the time, and the story that unfolds is a result of the player's actions, like directly the
Oh
result,
yeah.
and it it makes the story much more impactful. You tend to care about the character you're playing more because you put yourself in that kind of position, and that's why that's the reason why a lot of characters are kind of a lot of player characters tend to be more bland because they want people to kind of
Yeah,
insert themselves in.
yeah. They want you to step in their shoes.
Hmm. But it just makes the story a lot more interesting. Seeing like you can choose to act a specific different way, and the characters around you as a character in the game react kind of according to that. Like you can
Oh yeah,
see into their lives, type of choices that they'll make based on how you interact with them.
oh yeah. And then it gets like the game gets even crazier when when you're brought out to that kind of decision trees. You kind of see where your game went, and you can see what other game chose.
No, yeah, it's crazy.
That's
Some
when it gets
people,
even crazier.
it's crazy. Some people like filled out the whole decision tree, like see every possible way the story can go.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't really blame them. I want to know everything that happens too. But you kind of see like 50% of people because they didn't do anything, and you were one of them. But that's all the game tells you. It doesn't tell you you made the bad. It just says, oh yeah, 50% of the people did this.
No, that's just like the Telltale games. I never thought about that, but that's kind of a cool way to kind
Yeah.
of make the internet community grow. Where it's like the decisions that you make, you can see how many people had the same thought process you did, and chose that decision.
Oh yeah. No, it's and then on like favorite like you go on Reddit or whatever, and then you're like, you see posts or like, who killed Alice? Like who? Why would you do that? And then it gets even better.
No, yeah. Imagine if once they can VR gets good enough, so you can have that kind of game, but
Oh man.
instead of you just seeing the screen, no, you're in that person. You're seeing through that character's eyes.
Oh yeah. No, it gets great.
Like
Well, have you played or seen like VR chat at all?
VR chat, I've
Yeah.
seen only the Knuckles meme. You got
Oh,
the
okay.
Knuckles
So
meme.
yeah, you haven't seen like some of the crazy stuff.
No, I
You
haven't.
know,
What's the craziest?
VR is a lot further than you think.
Mm.
There's already body trackers. There's people are already using their hands and face. Like I've kind of just wandered around VR chat a little bit. But there literally is like gentlemen's clubs in VR chat just because of body tracking and all these adult toys that will interact with you and your parts.
What the?
So, oh yeah, it's like I said, it's way farther.
What the? Actually, though?
Actually,
Whoa.
like like I'll say I've been one because I'm like, what the hell is this in here? You go in, you're like, oh, that's what it is. I'm gonna leave. Bye. No, thank you.
Oh,
I am
God.
not into this.
I can't believe that's one of the first things they go for.
Well, I mean, like you gotta, you. It's one of those things where you gotta look in the right place, but anyone can find it. It's
Yeah.
just like it's just like why games rated M sometimes because yeah, it's in the game, so you can find this nude woman, but it's not guaranteed.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Just whoa.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah. Like I said, VR is way further than you are.
No, because the stuff that I've seen for VR, that's kind of like Job Simulator, the Five Nights at Freddy's game, like stuff where it can, you can, it can check your hand inputs, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. But
you can check your hand and face inputs.
mm-hmm. But then
Oh
other
yeah,
than that, like let's say you're walking, like unless it's tracking your hand, like the hand controllers, um, it won't track necessarily your leg movements. Like a lot of scene games I've seen, it's like a point and click type thing where if you want to go over
yeah.
there, you have to point out with your hand, target it, and then teleport over.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
Did you see the Half Life 3 quotation marks Half Life VR?
I did have Half Life Alex. It looks really cool.
It looks like
It looks like a lot of fun.
it looks like the best VR game I've ever seen. Like, how would I say, graphically?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. You take one of the companies that literally invented video game physics. That's like what Valve is kind of known for the most part.
Mm.
And they already have they already have this huge company with almost unlimited. So they're already making everyone. Oh, this company that's really good with physics is making this VR game. It's like this looks real. Like, this is an augmented reality.
It really
It's
does look like
crazy.
that. It's hella insane. Um, I guess I'm excited for it because I'm imagining it to be the kind of Super Mario 64, but for VR.
Oh yeah, I bet it will be. I agree with you. I absolutely bet. This will kickstart whole this will kickstart a whole bunch of.
And finally, people
And
can shut
it's
up about
weird
Half
that,
Life 3.
and it's especially weird that a game so like trying to run away from bad guys,
Mm,
because that's what the game is. You're literally just running away from bad guys,
mm.
but add all this complexity on top of it, and then you're like, oh, this is insane.
Well, it's just like Pac-Man running away from ghosts.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's just running away from bad guys, but you keep adding all this stuff on top of it, and it's like just a bunch of different.
No, yeah, totally. The frontiers of gaming are really, really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm excited. Well, have you seen Marvel's Avengers?
I have.
I
That game looks like a lot of fun.
I have mixed feelings about it because one, graphically, it looks really insane. But it feels weird in that it looks like it's trying to be MCU, but then you look at the
Yeah,
models and also the voices,
and it's
and
all old. It's all comics characters. It's not even like
mhm.
MCU characters.
No, it's like you can tell. I think it's Nolan North is Iron Man. You can tell he's trying to do a
They're
Robert Downey Jr., but he's
I'm gonna be honest. They're all probably Nolan North. Nolan North. Nolan North does a lot more than you think he does too. He does everything.
oh yeah, he does. I forget the amount of voices. I just know he's in so many different animated pieces. It's a great voice actor.
Yeah, no, he's in. If you can think of it, he's probably, and that's not a joke.
And I think being a voice actor is super impressive. Like, have you heard Mark Hamill's Joker?
I have.
That's
Have you heard? I just saw a video that started floating around the internet the other day, where Nickelodeon, a lot of videos on the voice actors wanted to make videos.
hmm
Like, there's this like, I don't know, I don't want to say she's old, but she's kind of older woman. She's kind of like older woman,
hmm
and she's like, kid that you're like, wait, that's her. There's no way she can make that voice.
Yeah, actually, yesterday Nickelodeon came up with a video of the voice actor for SpongeBob improvising. I think it was five new five new characters just out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, and it was on the spot too.
Yeah, hell on the spot. It's it's something really cool when someone can kind of be very clearly pull off the voice of someone that they're not like at all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And you like watching him do it is crazy too. Like I can't remember.
Well, you can see them do all the different facial
Um,
expressions, get into the
oh yeah,
character.
but like, have you seen Benedict Cumberbatch doing Smaug from The Hobbit?
No, I haven't seen that.
That is definitely a watch, because that is like again, watching people do it, like, man, that's like, you watch them do it and you're like, that's so weird that they do that, but at the same time, I understand why they're doing it.
Oh yeah, imagine it's hella fun. Actually, I pulled off during a Cards Against Humanity game a Macho Man Randy Savage voice,
Nice.
and I don't know, it's fun to be able to do kind of stuff like that. I'd love to get better
Oh, yeah.
impressions one day.
Oh yeah, and you got it. you gotta. This is like not a plug at all, but you gotta talk to Kat because she went to a professional school for this kind of stuff. Where she pull out different dialects and stuff. She knows a lot more than I. She can probably teach you how to do it.
No, yeah, that would be really cool. I'd love to have that kind of conversation.
Oh yeah, she does it. She does it like crazy well too. Like if like I bet I could put her on the line right now, and you probably wouldn't know it was her.
Really? She can pull off a pillow?
Well, not me, but I could say, hey, do European, do Southland, and she's really good at that.
That's hella awesome. No, definitely a lot of respect to people who can do that. So it is interesting. So I got into D&D because of some friends that I have from back home, and D&D is weird for me in that whenever I make a character, all the characters I've made are all like aspects of me, just like a little bit of that, and I just
Yeah.
ignore the rest because I can't really pull off something that is not within me.
Oh yeah.
And it's just really interesting when the people I've met who they'll go something for completely different that they're not at all in any way like, especially when guys become girls or girls become guys.
Yeah.
That's just such a odd trend. It's like, I don't think I'd be able to do it justice, and it feels weird putting myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in that person's shoes and act accordingly.
No, I'm telling you right now, another huge D&D nerd. I know I'm a huge fucking nerd. Get over it. But as a huge D&D nerd, like a lot of people, they'll try to oh that yeah I kind of like doing that. Let's make a character around it, or they'll make a character and then they'll kind of change it a little bit. Trust me when I say this. Play something that doesn't fit you, because it is a whole new, completely different experience, and you will love D&D a lot.
Mm.
Like I play D&D every Friday, and then me and my group play other games over the weekend. But on Friday, we kind of to get into more role playing stuff. We don't talk like as our characters. When we're all throughout the country, all nationwide. So we use the internet. We use Roll20 to play.
Mm.
But like what anything our character says or does is written anything. And so that way, like stuff out of the game, we can type in chat too. We'll make it obvious, or we'll just say with our voice. But anything our character says is written in the chat, and it kind of helps with role playing a little bit. It kind of helps you step in your character. Like I said, play something that doesn't fit you. It's a whole nother experience.
Yeah, I'll try to try it eventually, but I have to make a new character.
That's what I mean. Even if it's like a throwaway character next time or whatever. Like, hey, you can even talk to DM. I'm sure you'll be fine with, hey, I want to try out this character, totally an experiment. Next session, whatever, and then kill them off, whatever. It's a whole new experience. I'll obviously save it for next campaign, because if you like it, stick. But some people don't like. They still kind of see, oh, this is what. I don't like playing that. I'm gonna stick this a lot more, but usually even those people will kind of learn, like, it kind of playing style of and then they might not play something that doesn't fit them, but it'll still what's the word I'm looking for? It'll still like improve their acting a little bit more, because it's a learning experience. Is all it is.
So what would you say is your favorite character that you've ever done?
My favorite character. Two of them, actually. I have two favorite characters. I'm sad because one character I didn't really get to finish, because it was a campaign that I was playing with my dad when I was back home, before I moved out and stuff. And I was playing as a half-orc barbarian he was super. He's all about his ancestors. He for his class was, and whenever he would go into combat, he would have ancestral guardians, like literally appear on the battlefield, and so he was super, super spiritual, super. But and then eventually at the point where we were doing this one adventure where we had to compete in a dinosaur race
Mm-hmm.
to kind of carry on and get the information we needed. And when we did it, I well, and I was like, you know what, I'm just his awakening. So he loved it, and it made this session so much character that would normally be because his ancestors didn't do it, or he doesn't his that's definitely one of my favorite characters. It was so much fun to play. Favorite characters, which is I played recently in a Star Wars D&D game.
Mm-hmm.
As Outcast, and we were the bad guys in this book. So this was like old Republic time before any of the movies where a lot of the games take place.
Okay.
And there's even this whole game series about this whole old Republic.
Oh, okay.
You might have heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
But yeah, so we were like the bad guys working for the Sith Council, and I was playing as this ex Jedi character, and there was the challenges where me and my group, we role play a lot, so she had to kind of to fit in almost at first, and then it eventually got to the point where she started having trouble with like the dark side of the Force, because for about 3 years she was a gray Jedi, where she was between the light and then she kind of was having trouble. But there was the only other on the team was super Sith.
Oh.
He was full Sith. He wanted to become a Sith Lord, be on the Sith Council, and he was just getting ready to slay his master so that he can take his. But so she talked to him, and then she kind of got more interest in the dark side, and then she got incredibly more powerful. Totally not because I accidentally made a character. But so she started getting almost overwhelmed by the dark side of the Force, and that kind of made her. Pick up a little bit. So she was like, okay, well, maybe the dark side isn't too bad. And then she started building her own lightsaber, and it ended up being double bladed. And then her fighting style got a lot more aggressive. She was physically and mentally more powerful, and she became one of the biggest assets on the team, and very quickly overpowered everyone.
That sounds awesome.
That was a really cool character.
I've never heard of Star Wars D&D before.
Yeah.
Is it like is it like a variation of D&D, or its own kind of what's it called? What's the name for role playing game?
Well, yeah, this one was its own system. So it was just like a Star Wars system.
Okay. But that sounds like hella great, because Star Wars is I think I enjoy it more as a world than I do as a series of movies and games. Like, I think the lore is a lot more interesting to go into than at least the last few movies that have come out.
I'm a little upset that all the lore changed, honestly.
That's why I ignore it.
It's just too hard to ignore, though. For me, it's kind of like, I know it's there, I know it exists.
Well, it could just be like the 7, 8, and 9 just didn't happen.
Yeah, but I know it exists. It's too late.
Well, okay, so of the 3, what was your least favorite?
Okay, I actually love. I don't know why. I know I'm a huge idiot. But something about it, it's kind of like, it's really obvious that that George Lucas and the other directors didn't really know what they were doing, but at the same time, the simplicity of it is really cool. Also, the lore behind the clones, I love that. It's all really cool. Um, and then it kind of uh, the trilogy, I think. I don't know what to call it. The original trilogy, I do like the original trilogy.
Mm.
It's just it's not as enticing for lack of better words.
No, yeah, I actually have felt that too. Like, so I grew up watching the first three movies because of my friend Marcus have mentioned before, because he had all of them, and I saw
Yeah.
the original trilogy afterwards. But something about it, worldwide, just felt a little bit more boring as compared to when you're in the prequel trilogy, where you see a lot more planets, a lot more forms of life. I like the droid army a lot, and I like the
Yeah.
fact that there's more Sith in there instead of just Sidious. Sidious is just kind of boring. He's like the how you describe him? He's just a little bit villain running the strings in the background. No much of a depth of
Yeah.
character. It's only in the prequel trilogy where you see how he's a lot more interesting than he is shown to be in the final movies.
Yeah.
And also, I love the impact of the Jedi and the clones. Like to see what they actually do, kind of as a group, because they were you get the intro to them in the fourth movie when Obi-Wan starts talking about his old friend, referring to Anakin. And he's talking about Luke's father, talking about a war here, and you hear about about this period, which seemed really interesting and lively. And then when it's fleshed out, the
Yeah.
characters themselves may not be the most well written, but it's really fun to watch.
Oh yeah, and like especially my favorite part about the prequel trilogy is, um, there's so much that the movies don't tell because like I said, these movies weren't really too developed well at the time. So you read into it and you look at it a little bit more, and you're like, wait, hold on. There's literally contents of like 20 more movies here.
No, yeah,
Like at least they made TV shows out of some of them, but there's still so much stuff that they don't even talk.
the Star Wars, the Clone Wars is like one of the best TV shows
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen. It's really fun. What I think is most interesting that it comes into is kind of like the how would I describe it? The thought processes that bother the clones. Because imagine that you're born and you don't get to experience
oh
a
yeah.
childhood.
You're
You're bred to
you're
create
born.
war.
You are not really even born. You are birthed, spawned, uh, and then from birth you are taught combat. Like nothing, militaristic. It is drilled in your
But,
and then
and on top,
and then you become 14. You're given a gun, uh, kind of not so good armor, and then they just say, okay, here's another group of 14-year-olds. Have fun.
no, yeah, and I think what's really interesting about that is since they're all cloned from the same person, I don't think that they're taught that it's not taught that they're not individuals, but everyone
Oh
around you
no,
looks the same.
they're absolutely not taught that they're individuals. They are told that they are objects
Mm.
of the they are objects of the Republic and nothing. They are not granted citizenship. Nothing.
No, yeah, and so you see that like you live through that, and your whole goal is you're be fighting for this republic, and you see from the beginning when after they get their guns and their armor and they start that training, like
Oh yeah.
there's that one episode about it, I can't remember, but it's going through that the clones their own ranks, they give themselves individual names and ranks
Oh
and that
yeah.
kind of thing.
But they have to give themselves that. Other than that, they're a series of numbers.
And that's the sad part about it. Like, I think it's an incredibly bleak
Oh
way
yeah.
to look at the world, where
Oh yeah.
you're nothing more than
But
a
that's
number.
that's all they know. It's just that's it's really sad, but it's really interesting. Like oh man, that really sucks. But they don't know any, and yeah, it's not their fault. But what else are you gonna do?
That's why you gotta love the camaraderie about it. There's one episode
Oh yeah,
um, where one of the clones, he's afflicted by the chips that are inside them, the chips that can literally strip their free will. Like, and throughout the
oh
show
yeah.
you see that they have free will, like they act and they have their own individual emotions and personalities, even though they're cloned from the same person. And to override that, there's a chip built into their bodies which can take control of their actions and force them to do things that they wouldn't. And one of the chips goes haywire and starts acting early, and gives the Order 66 way too early, and this clone ends up killing a Jedi. And he goes back and forth between states of like where this chip is heavily affecting him and when it's not. And this clone gets put away, and this other clone is trying to figure out what's going on. And he learns about this, chip from people, and he gets it removed. And before the other clone gets put to death, and he kind of goes AWOL and escapes the ranks, and he's trying to figure out a way to tell the truth to someone about about this power that can be used over the clones. And before he can do that, he gets put to death by I forget who does it, but it was another set of clones. It was really sad, like because he
Yeah,
had
he's hunted down.
because the Rex, which is the main clone that you know through the series, he's very close with this specific clone. I think it was Fives, and he wants to put his trust in him, but it's him having to take respecting the orders that he's been given, having to take Fives out. It's this really sad kind of thing. And I think the best part about the Clone Wars in these is that it's putting these characters through these really interesting moral kind of challenges, like questions that you don't, a lot of depth that you don't see in
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of fandoms like this.
and it's even crazy because even the thing that the Clone Wars doesn't show, the TV, the thing that it doesn't show is, by the time all this is happening, the clones are absolutely demoralized.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to fight anymore. They don't even care if they win. They're only fighting because Jedi's are kind of their friends, and they don't even want to die for them. And that I'm kind of sad that the show doesn't do that justice. But even at that point, they don't even want to fight, and they don't care who.
Yeah, they definitely don't show how unsympathetic to the war cause, because mainly because whenever you see clones interacting with Jedi, it's usually through Anakin and Obi-Wan, who are really good commanders. But there are certain Jedi commanders which are really savage. Like Obi-Wan
Well,
and Anakin were kind of like contrary to the mold.
Call Anakin a good commander, but it's personal preference.
Oh. Well, he had a close relationship with all his clones. At least Sean.
Well, yeah, he had a close relationship, but he put himself and all of his troops had Padawan in danger. But that's a story for a different day.
No, yeah. I think he did it because of his own confidence in his abilities, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Overconfidence.
a little overconfident, just a little. Is it? It's not. Sometimes it's good. It's not always bad, but
Well, in his defense, it's not overconfidence if you're right.
Oh yeah, absolutely not true. That's absolutely. But he would kind of like cheat the systems in whatever way he could to be right. But
No, totally.
he wasn't wrong.
But I don't know.
These are just soldiers. They are just objects. He's not wrong.
I'd
but,
be of his disposition to be like, screw the system.
I mean, he kind of did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say too much because there's kind of a sensitive topic.
He kind of did at the end. He kind of did at the end.
And they let him get away with it. Nobody stopped him.
Yeah, well, he did. He did a lot of horrible things. I give that to
Just
a little bit. I don't know. Anakin's always been my favorite Jedi. even I guess I can be more sympathetic to him, even though he did really horrible things when he turned. His journey through the system was one I really enjoyed, where
Yeah.
especially questioning the questioning authority part, because there were a lot of problems within the Jedi Order that weren't really being resolved
Oh,
or even looked at.
oh yeah, absolutely. And even sometimes the Jedi didn't even realize because they don't know, and they notice there's nothing they can really do about it. Anakin was like, "Nah, that's bad. I'm not gonna do."
So, do you have a favorite Jedi?
I don't really know if I do.
Hmm. So,
Personally, I don't really know.
no
I don't
Mace
really know if I do.
Windu, no Obi-Wan, no Yoda. Well, those are the big ones. Who are others? I like. Did you see Star Wars Rebels?
I haven't. It just wasn't too interesting to me, and started watching it like a little bit less interesting.
Mm. Because I think Kanan Jarrus in Star Wars Rebels is, to me, he's the most interesting character. Basically, his storyline is one that's been used in a lot of between prequel and original trilogy stories, where he's a Jedi that he was a Padawan when Order 66 happened, and he fought in
Yeah,
the Clone Wars and managed to escape. And since then, he kind of shunned off his connection to the Force. Um, so he has that basic background, but then afterwards,
that's the guy that goes blind, right?
yeah, he goes blind.
Yeah, you can see with the force and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Nah, to me he was hella cool in that because his journey is more so one to kind of accept the past when that he had first forsaken, and kind of foster a new kind of growth in life within Ezra.
Yeah,
And honestly, to the end, it was more so being teaching being at peace with yourself, even amidst all the flaws and accepting all the good kind of people into your life. That kind of nice
yeah,
perspective on how, like, a perfect point to reach when you're kind of happy with your life through all the suffering, because he went through a lot of suffering, including losing his eyes.
oh yeah. That's kind of a big thing.
And a big thing that they showcase with him is well, to be honest, it's a little cliche in that it's used everywhere, but I think the way they executed it was nicely, where you kind of the strength gained when you are doing something for the ones that you love.
Yeah,
And I think it was done well in his end of his character arc, in his sacrifice. Because in a lot of other stories, it's more like when they show that kind of thing, it's just because, oh, I need to beat bad guy, so power up because power of friendship. But
yeah,
the way it
and
was done,
that's usually what it is.
yeah, the way it was done is more so giving up a a lot of things. Like, well, he basically getting through giving up his own life. It was given the chance to save everyone else, and it was also at a point where he had to make that choice, where everything else around him was kind of going his way,
Yeah,
where he found peace with his student, um, where he finally kind of bonded with the person that he loved, and the plans within the operation he was running were kind of underway and set to kind of culminate. And all that, like, when everything is going well, and in that point where he had an option to where he could kind of save himself, or at risk of everyone else, or give his own future up for everyone else.
yeah,
And the great thing that I liked about that is the Force gave him his sight, because of that decision, so he could see them one last time,
oh yeah.
in actually the last seconds of his life. So that's another.
No, it's really cool. You just reminded me too that the last season of Clone Wars is trickling out. The real last season.
Oh yeah, I have to go watch it. Really excited for it, but it's on Disney Plus. I haven't got Disney Plus yet.
Uh, make sure to cut that a video. You want to
Say that again.
make sure to cut this out of the video, but you want this D plus.
I'm down.
Uh, I have.
Yeah, I'll ask for later.
Yeah, we'll worry about that later when I'm recording.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
No.
But yeah,
Oh
Star
yeah,
Wars.
but I got.
Star Wars. I don't know. Star Wars been. It's been a fun it's been a fun ride. As much as the recent movies have been a little bit annoying, to say the least, or not, or more so disappointing. It's always been a fun world to jump into.
Oh yeah, I still agree. Um, Role playing in it is so just now I know a lot of the lore. I've had so much more fun role playing uh, Star Wars.
Okay, so let's end off on this one. If you could choose, would you be a Jedi or a Sith?
Oh man, Jedi's have so many rules. Ah, those stupid rules out of here. You're telling me I can't love somebody? Dark side all.
Dark side.
Absolutely.
Mm, see, I don't know if I would choose that. I I think because I think I'd be it giving into those kinds of emotions, all like pure into the passions, is something I really have a hard time doing because I kind of keep myself from it. But also being a Jedi is so boring.
Yeah, like, you got so many rules though.
I don't know. My gut answer is yeah. I'd probably choose to be a Jedi.
Man,
And then knowing me, I'd probably leave the Jedi.
I don't know, man. It is a tough choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gray Jedi is like the perfect kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely. Because then you don't have so many rules, but at the same time, you're
Mm-hmm.
not exactly completely evil.
No, you're not. Like, I think all the Gray Jedi that are shown are just Jedi who kind of like emotions are a good thing, and uh, also kind of like it's really interesting. Like set up and trusting in the Force, that kind of perspective on it, where it's like the
Yeah,
Jedi Order is very strict to the Jedi code and that kind of thing, and whereas the Dre Jedi like Qui Gon Jinn, it's more so how to describe it. It's like it's almost like fate. Like there's this greater power that
yeah,
is good, and as long as you have your trust in it, it will show you the proper way. That kind of
yeah.
thing.
Completely opposite side. The dark side will always show you more power. Sometimes you can't handle it because it wants you to try to get there.
Yeah, the Sith are interesting, as in it's like the Sith feels like a cult of the self, where you're doing thing. If
Oh
you want
yeah,
something, you take it, and everything is about power.
oh yeah. I mean that's what it is. But it's all just really interesting, really fun to think.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, we'll have to do that some other time. Is there anywhere you want to plug, Pillow? Twitch.
Check me out on YouTube. YouTube content coming soon if I get this computer. I already messed up 3 recordings, so I'm gonna do this one a lot more carefully. Uh, YouTube, because you gotta be special for that. So check me out. Look me up on YouTube. Inclusive Pillow. It's not youtube.com/inclusive pillow. Look me up in the search bar. You'll find me. There's already some stuff there waiting. Just go chill.
All right, check out at the description below. I'll put that all in there, and make sure to
Yeah.
like and subscribe here so you can see more podcasts like this.
Oh yeah, definitely needs to go down there. Definitely click that one. That one is really good.
Yeah.
Trust me on that one. That one's really good.
Well, everyone have a good one. See you in the next podcast.